Hey, how are you? I'm kind of messing with this microphone today. I'm not sure I'm digging it. Um, See what I can do here. And welcome. I'm Daphne Smith. Glad to have you here. I had a little realization today. This morning, it started off as a make your own kind of sunshine day, if you know what I mean. And by that, I mean it was like super overcast for the millionth day in a row. And I decided, you know what? I need to make my own sunshine today. Then the sun came out and I realized every day is a make your own sunshine kind of day. Think about it. Yeah, kind of deep, isn't it? But that's not what we're here to talk about. Welcome. I'm glad to be here with you. I am Daphne Smith, wave maker, truth teller, and chain breaker. And I have something I want to share with you today. I promise this will not be a repeat of my last video where I was trying to focus on two different screens at once. Yeah, I tried to do Instagram Live and Facebook Live at the same time. The way we learn is by trying, right? Yeah, you are my sole focus right now. So it's great to be here with you. And I'm really kind of excited about this message, this idea of the difference between how and what. Let me back up just a minute. I am a word nerd. I have claimed that for quite some time. I'm the kid in class who liked to conjugate words and who really loved Latin. That's just who I am. And if you are a nerd of some kind, I'd love for you to type that in the comments. Type the word nerd, and if you're so bold, let us know what kind of nerd you are. Would love to learn more about you. So, on occasion, I get struck or inspired by different words and different terminology. And in fact, on occasion, I like to use multisyllabic words because I love words and the power of words. And it struck me the other day that there's a big difference between asking someone, how are you doing? And what are you doing? And it's a very casual, common question that we ask each other. Pick up the phone, hey, how you doing? Hey, what are you doing? But it really struck me that those two words, how and what, are worlds apart. And they really, if you take a minute to pause, they really go to the intention of the question. So let me start with the word how. When you ask someone, how are you doing? You're asking for an internal check, if you will. I'll use my husband, or maybe you've got a girlfriend or a sibling or a whomever that you talk to on a regular basis. And if I ask my husband, how are you doing? I want to know about his being, about his human beingness. I might get a response like, well, I'm excited, I'm tired, I'm frustrated, I'm sleepy. I've got some notes over here because I had some really good ideas. Anything that has to do with who he is inside. That would be the response to how are you doing? In fact, in the early days of the Methodist Church, in small group gatherings, they would ask a question, how is it with your soul? Before the meeting would ever truly get into the agenda. So when we ask somebody, how are you doing? We're asking about that internal stuff. But when we ask somebody, what are you doing? In fact, that in and of itself, based on the tone, can have a certain implication and intention, right? Like, what are you doing? Or what are you doing? But I'm talking about that casual, hey, what are you doing? What are you up to? When we ask that question, we're asking about an external, almost progress report reply. For example, same husband, I ask him, what are you doing? I could easily get a response like, I'm getting ready to wash the dishes. I'm going to walk the dogs. I'm sending out an email so I can wrap up my day. These are all task-oriented responses. Does that make sense? Can you see the difference, the very subtle difference between the how and the what? One addresses us being human beings. The other addresses us being human doings. And before I feel a preach coming on, because we are so wrapped up in this world about proving ourselves and comparing ourselves and what can we accomplish and what did you accomplish? Stopping myself. That we have gotten to where all of our language is jumbled together and we just say things without even thinking. Something I have said for years, say what you mean what you say. It goes a long way in building relationships and improving communication with one another. So this weekend, I'm getting together with a couple of girlfriends. We are getting together to simply be, not to compare accomplishments. Sure, we'll share a little bit about what's going on in our lives. And I've got a group of women who that is the number one topic when we gather. It's what are you doing? What have you done? How is your progress? But this weekend, this particular group of girlfriends and I, we're getting together to say, how are you doing? Because we want to check in internally with one another. So I hope that's given you a little something to think about. In fact, if you are going to be more aware and more intentional with your words, type in soul in the comments. Type the word soul into the comments. Because when we are intentional and we are interested in the internal, we're essentially asking someone, how is it with your soul? Although walking around asking that today could be a little weird. Anyway, I want to give a shout out, like I always do before I wrap this up, to someone who you've heard me talk about before. This is like a whole new reason why I'm giving him a shout out. So you've heard me mention my friend and mentor, Carrie Oberburner, before. And one of the things that I respect and admire about him tremendously is his ability to show up filled up. I've been working with him for 5 years now, and I have not seen him not show up filled up. Now, I know he's a mere mortal, and he has down days, if you will. I also know that he is someone who invests in himself, invests in his growth, and that's what allows him to show up filled up. Does that make sense? So in his quest for being his best, he came across Dr. Caroline Leaf. Thankfully, he introduced me to her as well. Let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Caroline Leaf, and I'm going to use some of those multisyllabic words right now, and I've got to read this. Dr. Caroline Leaf is a cognitive neuroscientist with a PhD in communication pathology and a BSc in logopedics and audiology, specializing in metacognitive and cognitive neuropsychology. Yeah, whatever. I don't even know what half those words mean. I do know this. She's brilliant. She has helped me begin to start understanding the difference between our brain and our mind. Yeah, you want to talk about going deep? Yeah. She does it, however, in a way that is easy as a layperson to understand, to not only understand, but to also implement. And so I really encourage you to learn more about her. She's got some books available on audio. I've downloaded one and I'm listening to it when I work out. She's also got some YouTube videos, but I will put her website in the comments below so that you can reference that later on. And kind of circling back to Carrie Oberbrunner, if you want to meet this guy that I've talked about so much over the years, and hey, maybe even meet me in person as well, because I'll be there, I would love to invite you to the Igniting Souls conference that will take place this October. I'll put a link in the comments about that as well. This will be my 6th consecutive year to attend the conference. And for me to do something 6 years in a row, that's a statement right there. Either way, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate your time and your attention. I want you to remember that you can have a great day when you make your own sunshine, that you can live a well-done life daily and be a wave maker yourself by choosing your words wisely. Bye for now.